здравейте, скайци! Аз съм скайците и това е поредната реакция на Майнкрафт. Пускаме да записваме. Ще правим реакция
Imagine if every hour you spent
на The Minecraft player trapped in a simulation.
working on your Minecraft world was secretly a simulation, being watched by people you don't know and without your permission. Well, a few months ago, this became a reality. I got an email sent to me addressing a channel called Andrew Games 722. They upload videos playing on their world in the beta version of Minecraft. With over 40 plus videos, I decided to take a glance at one of them, but I had no clue that I was about to dig myself in the deepest rabbit hole of my life.
Никой не сейва видеята като WMV. Всички ги сейват като мов.
The first episode is named Minecraft.wmv. Before Andrew joins the world, we already notice something 2 seconds into the video. For a single frame, we're given a secret Minecraft menu. Besides the version text being gone and the copyright message being slightly different, the only significant change is the menu text. Altogether, it reads, "The Palladium will be dead." Now, we don't know who or what the Palladium is, but again, we just started the video, so we'll have to move on. Andrew spawns into his world. He's on version beta 1.0.46. He gathers resources, and while exploring, we see this happen.
Оп, екрана глична.
After the screen went crazy, the sound in the video became reverb. Not only that, but there's obsidian on the floor with a sign that says, "We watch all who approach." Andrew decides to walk away from it, but then once again, the screen starts glitching, producing weird sounds while we see Andrew get pulled back to the obsidian area, and he stays there until the video ends. Disregarding the ending of the video, I didn't mention it, but this version of Minecraft does not exist. Also, the music coming from Andrew's game is called Living Mice, which came out in 2011, and beta version 1.0 came out in 2010. You're going to see a lot of things that shouldn't be in the version Andrew is playing on throughout this video. So if I don't mention all the inconsistencies, it's because it's not significant to the story. Moving forward, there's one thing I can say for certain. If we take a closer look at this obsidian,
Не, ти остави обсидиана. Водата защо е черна, бе, човек? Всичко друго е супер висок контраст, защото е бета версията на играта, а водата е черна.
It resembles a symbol, which we can make out to be the numbers 46, which would make sense. This version Andrew's playing on doesn't exist because of the number 46.
Honestly, това е много яко лого. Това е много яко лого, това също би било много яка татуировка.
Makes sense. This version Andrew's playing on doesn't exist because of the number 46. These are the only types of versions in beta 1.0, which means something is going on with the number 46. With the sign and Andrew being what looks to be pulled back to the 46 symbol, it's clear Andrew is being controlled. But right now, there's a lot of information that needs more context, so we have to move on to episode 2.
Episode 2.
The video begins with Andrew collecting sand. 10 seconds into the video, he takes the sand and hovers it over his head. It's a bit odd, but it doesn't really mean anything. He heads...
Крана марка да е ARG. Ти знаеш колко работа трябва да бъде ARG. Ти знаеш, че ние трябва... Ако мислим марка да го правим като ARG, ти знаеш, че марка трябва да започнем да го правим на ARG още сега. В смисъл, още сега трябва да планираме да го правим на ARG, а ние даже не сме започнали марка, ние не сме планирали почти нищо. Имаше някакъв ден там, де бяхме планирали започването на марка, но като цяло нищо не сме планирали. Имаше някакъв... Иска да сменя това, просто да сменя, че съм на Just Chatting. Той мотора ме сменил. Вай мотора да си жив и здрав. Аре. Трудно. Смисъл, трудно. Много е трудно, защото трябва да го планираме и трябва... Виж, идеята на ARG е, че трябва във всеки един епизод да има някакъв малък хинт на това като ARG, трябва да правим сайтове и трябва да правим някакви такива неща, което е много досадно.
Diamond sword, and before leaving he barricades his door.
Качеството защо е ужасно? Това ли е просто качеството на видеото?
The screen goes cryptic, but looking back at it frame by frame, there's nothing to notice, so we'll have to let it go. He then looks up into the sky before we get this weird flashbang. We can tell the sky has gotten darker. Not only that, when the video was fading, the number 46 was not affected, confirming our theory that the 46 is not a game version. We notice he's walking in a familiar area until we notice unusual blocks on the ground. Upon a closer look, these blocks aren't even a part of Minecraft. This theory is confirmed when Andrew mines the blocks and sees the item has no name. It seems like whatever these things are must be taking a toll on his computer, as we can see him getting pushed back whenever he's walking. Once he gets to the 46 symbol we saw last episode, things look a lot different. The sign appears to be the same, but right behind it is a cross, with the no name blocks becoming an infestation to the area. Whatever is going on could possibly be connected to a cult or a religion. And if the version of the game being altered still doesn't convince you, Andrew goes into F1 and 46 is the only thing visible in his HUD. He then continues walking, but it's at this point the video quality becomes so distorted, all we can really do is just listen to it. But despite the video quality, that doesn't stop us from noticing this. The sky becomes visible. We can see the stars, but more importantly, the clouds. Something is up with the clouds. They look unusual, and it seems Andrew notices it too. Shout out to Plexus, who was super helpful in this investigation. He points out that the clouds actually resemble the 46 symbol we saw in the first episode. Make no mistake, anyone can put text on screen with the number 46. Anyone can just build the number 46 in Minecraft, but you can't just alter the Minecraft clouds to spell out 46. What is happening on Andrew's world? This isn't just some coincidence, because this isn't possible. Cults normally have themselves a symbol, something they use to represent themselves, and I believe that whoever this cult is uses 46 to represent themselves. In episode 3, we already noticed the version has changed back to beta 1.0, but we can still see the cloud symbols in the sky, so maybe the version has nothing to do with the anomalies. But while Andrew is walking, pay attention to the following clip.
Какво да гледаме, човек? Той е пиксели! Аз нищо не виждам! Учи. What the fuck,
Andrew stumbles upon a glowstone block textured as an eye. Remember this because we will go back to it. Then Andrew collects some sand and starts hovering it over his face. He returns back to his home and starts building himself a cobblestone dome before the video ends. Besides the weird eye we saw in the beginning of the video, there's not much to go into, so instead I'll go straight into episode 4 and use this video as supporting evidence. With episode 4, the title explains the video. Andrew wants to build a bridge across this lake, but his reasoning is a bit odd. I think with my new bridge, I may catch something before it can run away. Who or what is Andrew exactly seeing? It could be the people that worship this cult secretly spying on Andrew, but there's nothing to confirm that theory, so we'll need to keep digging. Andrew continues building his bridge, but he misplaces a block and gets frustrated, and right after starts hovering sand over his face while shaking his mouse. We also get a better view of the symbol area, but as night approached, Andrew heads back home before once again his screen starts shaking and he hovers sand over his face.
Това с пясъка, предполагам, си крие очите от нещо. Крие си очите от нещо. Това ми е моята теория.
This can't be ignored any longer. Something is going on. There are 4 different times already when Andrew is hovering sand over his face. Sometimes he's calm while doing it, other times he's out of control. The only pattern though is that it's always with sand. Also, when I say out of control, I literally mean it. Don't you notice how weird it is for Andrew to be walking normally, not even moving his screen, to all of a sudden freaking out and shaking while putting sand in his face? I'm positive Andrew is being controlled with sand. Other commenters speculate the sand is an addiction
For some reason, the player keeps waving the sand in his face. Is he trying to snort the sand? Eating sand out of frustration. Maybe he thinks it was pills. He must be out of frustration. Frustration thing. The sand texture... What? The sand texture changed To be rendered over time, perhaps something is in the sand.
Andrew
Mind
hovering
control.
the sand over his face is him consuming the sand. But if this was the case, it still wouldn't explain why Andrew tries to wear the sand as a helmet. We've seen movies depict people using hats as a way to mind control. Nonetheless, Andrew losing control of himself and being spied on shows that Andrew is not safe. But to really let this information hit, we have to move on to episode 5, Exploration 3.
Така, Ники, ще ги баваме тия ботове.
The video begins and we notice the version changes to Manifestation version 2. He heads outside and we can see the cobblestone dome is infested with red blocks. As he goes to barricade the door, he starts freaking out, hovering sand over his face again. The item now has a name, which is block. Then Andrew stumbles upon a chunk error. The entire chunk is removed, but before he could...
Chunk errorите, между другото, са много интересно нещо в Майнкрафт. Не мисля, че съм имал натурален chunk error, който се е спаунвал. Със сигурност съм виждал chunk error, когато съм играл в някакъв атерно сървър. Но много странно нещо, защото помня един път имаше един chunk error, скочих долу, хванах се на някаква пайжина, имаше диаманти, беше много найс.
Explore it, the video cuts to a clip of Andrew mining diamonds found in the chunk error.
То наистина.
Now we can imagine
subtle foreshadowing. Такъв малък foreshadow.
this is Andrew with its matching items and assume this is a clip that happens after Andrew heads down. But if that's the case, how come the cobblestone path is already made when Andrew starts going down? And it's not like Andrew knows he built it. His confused mannerism and precaution tells us that he's unfamiliar of who built this. But he mines the diamonds and starts heading to the bottom where a mine shaft is revealed. He goes exploring, collecting items that shouldn't exist until the red blocks appear again. He checks out the area until we see a black figure and the video ends. So, two big questions arise from this episode. What is going on in this clip where he's approaching the diamonds, and who is this black figure? The first situation may be a bit more complicated. First, we need to know why Andrew freaks out in the beginning of the video. Now, I mentioned my theory to the sand situation being that Andrew is controlled whenever he hovers sand over his face. But this time, there seems to be a clear motive of what caused this one. We notice he blocks his door when leaving, which we know isn't the first time we've seen Andrew do something like this. We know he's aware that he sees something in his world and likely does it to prevent whatever it is from entering his home. And I think whoever is doing this tries to control Andrew to prevent him from becoming more self-aware. Now that we're aware of that, how does this correlate to our first question? Well, although my evidence was that the items matched with both clips, so it had to be Andrew, I failed to mention the 4 extra cobblestone blocks in his inventory, which is ironic. Because guess how many blocks Andrew would have had if he didn't barricade his door, which is 16. We can tell Andrew wasn't the one who built this path.
Защо храната му не е стакната? Защото играе в бета версията. Бета версията играта, храната не се стаква, ти ако видиш, той няма и хънгър. Това е защото бета версията храната се използва за хилинг, а не за хънгър. Хънгър е по-късно. В смисъл, хънгър идва по-късно, храната се използва за хилинг.
But if so, then why does this POV have an almost identical inventory from the sorted items all the way to the exact durability? It doesn't make sense, unless we are watching from Andrew's perspective. How would we know if this is the first time Andrew has encountered this hole? Although the way he acts confused may seem like it's his first time, considering these people who have the ability to control Andrew, I wouldn't doubt they could also make Andrew wipe his memories. So it seems Andrew must have lost his memories, and this clip that we're seeing is the actual first time he encountered the hole. Okay, question answered, but now what's up with this figure? We only see it for a split second, but for all we know it has no name tag and is completely black. Well, unfortunately, half a second of screen time won't help our answers, but fortunately for us, this won't be the last time we see this thing.
Всяко едно видео е с различен видео сейв формат. Това е някакъв малък детайл, който съм който видях.
Episode 6, we're introduced to a new area. Andrew walks around exploring the area for a little until he gets teleported in a room with 4 other players. 3 of them seem to look the same, except for the 4th guy who we can assume is their leader. I'll play out the conversation and then explain what they're talking about, because it gets a
Трябва да ходим да го слагаме в Code Cipher.
bit confusing.
072216. Our first 2 iterations were compromised because of you. The efforts you've made to resist are futile. The program will only continue to adapt to your inputs.
What do we do?
We cannot let him roam freely. He has ties with the conspirator from the last 2 iterations. That will erase his client-side memory.
If you're still confused, don't worry. There's 2 characters we get introduced to, 62020, their leader, and 12721, one of the agents. Although we know Andrew as Andrew, 62020 refers to him as 072216. This name will be important. 62020 is upset because their first 2 iterations were broken into because of Andrew. These Minecraft versions that don't exist, like 1.0.46 and Manifestation version 2, those are iterations. And it seems like Andrew resisting is what caused them to get compromised. And this message also proves that every situation with the sand is these people trying to control Andrew, but he always manages to break free. 62020 mentions that he can't be freed, he knows the conspirator. We're never given an answer to who or what the conspirator is, but they do say his memory of this interaction will get wiped. And then Andrew spawns back into
The conspirator? Conspirator? Не знам, render. I got it. Render?
to his world. They've updated him to Manifestation version 3. The rest of the video is him walking back to his house, but before the video ended, we noticed the black figure again. Before we acknowledge the ending, we've now seen the other side to this world Andrew plays in. We now
Conspirator може да е черната фигура, между другото. Някакво това е моята теория.
see the people who run the place and create all these weird anomalies. We also know that they can remove Andrew's memory whenever they want, allowing them to keep Andrew in here forever or until they get access to the conspirator, which leads me to this figure.
Рендър е ютубъра, който гледаме. Бой.
This is the second time we see them. We don't know who they are, but this could be the conspirator we hear about. Andrew talked about he's seeing things in his world and maybe this figure is who he's seeing, but its motives are unclear, so we'll have to continue to episode 7. Renovating .mp4, nothing really happened, so all you need
Версията е различна. Manifestation версия 3.
to know is Andrew makes some changes to his home. But one thing I did notice was the spot where the chunk error happened in episode 5 is gone. It's almost like it's been covered, and Andrew doesn't seem to react, which confirms his memory was wiped. But with that being said, episode 8 brings us back to the area we saw in episode 6. Instead, this time we get the perspective of one of the agents. We find out this episode takes place right before episode 6. What we're watching is the building process before we saw Andrew get teleported here. Everything seems normal until the very end.
Guys, what? There's a dark figure standing off in the distance. Go see what it is.
Then we see 3 agents leave the game, panicking in chat, and same is said for the final agent when he heads outside and the black figure is seen. Besides some extra context, we've learned something about this figure. It's against the people who keep Andrew
Don't look at it. Oh god.
captive, and it makes me believe it wants to help Andrew escape. And if that's the case, how come it hasn't? Well, we know that Andrew can get his memories taken away, and if that's the case, imagine playing in your Minecraft world and someone you don't know joins it and starts telling you these people are keeping you captive and that he'll help you escape. You'd look like a crazy person to them, but it seems like this figure wants to help Andrew, and in episode 9 we'll realize that this figure isn't the only one trying to help Andrew to escape. Andrew is adding changes to his home before we see someone join the game, Ender Creeper 07.
Go to these coordinates.
Andrew copies the message.
Remember them, they're going to reset you.
Then, the screen goes black and Andrew is now in Manifestation 4, with his memories of this interaction completely wiped. But then Andrew opens chat and stares at it for a second before hitting Control V. He doesn't know why he has this copied, but he can see their coordinates, so he opens up F3 and starts heading there. He arrives to a small room in the mountains with 2 soul torches and a chest. Inside it is a book and quill by the Palladium. When he opens it, this is what we're given.
Andrew.
Палейдиума може да е черната фигура, между другото. Не, те нали му казаха другото име. Там конспиратора.
Your name is Andrew. You may not remember who I am right now, but I'm the reflection. I promise you, you are not supposed to be in this place. I don't know how to get you out, but don't anger them. They will kill you. The more of a threat you pose, the more they will torture and make you wish you did not exist. Lay low and be quiet. I will get you out of here one of these days.
Signed, The Reflection. Andrew covers up the entrance and the video ends. We're given 3 names, Ender Creeper 07, the Palladium, and the Reflection. More importantly, remember the Palladium? That's right, the name we saw at the very first episode saying the Palladium will be dead. We finally meet someone who 6/20/20 wants dead. The book was signed by the Palladium, and the person who wrote in the book refers to themselves as the Reflection, so it seems we can assume these two are the same person. The Reflection informs Andrew that 1, his name is Andrew, and 2, he's not supposed to be in this Minecraft world, but he also mentions to lay low and be quiet. I also wonder if the conspirator is one of these 2 people, but that question will hopefully get answered later on. In episode 10, we're watching from the agent's POV again. 2 workers have a conversation, so I'll try to summarize it. He asks if the subduer is implemented, but we don't know what the subduer is exactly. The dev says yes and also mentions some bugs have been fixed. But then he asks about the dark entities Agent 6116 found, which if you don't know, he's referring to the ending of episode 6. The dev mentions it's been worked on, but it's not a perfect fix. And the rest of the conversation is 12721 stressing over the incident, and we see the person recording heading into a room before the video cuts. In episode 12, we actually go back a few episodes.
Да не бе... Това, че Palladium е Андрю от бъдещето. Вай, това ще е crazy. Тук ще слагаме time travel.
More specifically, this video takes place exactly when episode 9 was happening.
Was the reset successful?
It worked, but did leave behind some player and container data from the previous iterations.
That will be fine, just so as long as the TV keeps him occupied. He can't let him wake up. His relations with the conspirator make us within reach of the reflection.
Wait, who the hell is Ender Creeper 07? He just breached into the iteration. There's been a breach.
Then, before the video ends, the map turns black. We find out they don't actually care about the conspirator, they just need them to reach the reflection. The person we saw telling Andrew he was going to help him escape. Here's everything you need to know. 6/20/20 captured Andrew because he knows the conspirator who knows the reflection, the person 6/20/20 is after. But these 2 messages still leave me confused. They refer to people as he, him, while talking about more than one person, so it's a bit confusing. But all we need to know is that they make sure the TV is keeping a person occupied so they don't wake up this other person. With that being said, it seems they're unaware that Andrew got information of what's going on, and soon Andrew is going to start becoming a lot more self-aware. Episode 13, we watch someone spawn in an island covered in lava. They're in distress as we hear this eerie noise. The video is unsettling nonetheless. The video is just 2 minutes of this person walking around, but I want to shift the focus on the video's description. We're given a pastebin link. It's a jumble of letters, but we realize that this is a base 64 decode, which convert plain text into original data, and when translating it, it reads these 11 characters, which happen to be the same length of a YouTube video URL. And it just so happens these characters bring us to an unlisted YouTube video by Andrew Games. It's 46 seconds of a camera shot of the area we saw the player running around in, but in the description there's another message to decode, and when doing so it reads, "The temp was taken care of. The compromise our systems endured will not be tolerated. The Doomstriders continue their evil assault on our diligent and loyal agents." It seems their systems have been compromised once again. 6/20/20 mentioned this being a previous issue, but this time it seems to have been caused by the temp. So when they say the temp was taken care aware of, this video that we're seeing is from the perspective of the temp as they suffer in this world. The 46 crews seem to have rivals called Doomstriders, who are the alleged group to cause this compromise. This group could be affiliated with the Palladium and Ender Creeper 07. The next 3 episodes are out of order in building 412 instead of 124. There's also nothing crazy that happened, so I'll just give you a brief summary of any anomalies. In building 1, the 46 crew try to mind control Andrew twice. In building 2, Andrew hovers sand over his face. This time the screen goes black and the music reverses as we see Andrew continuing to build his home, but his behavior becomes robot-like, like he's being programmed. In building 4, at 6 minutes, Andrew enters his home to see the figure. Then the screen goes black, but this time, instead of the video ending, it kills Andrew. He then respawns to pick up his loot. Weird moments, but nothing that can be dug deeper. Although now we enter into episode 17, and this is where Andrew starts to grasp what's truly going on. Episode 17, we've now entered Manifestation 4_1. Andrew happens to have a lot of sand in his inventory. He enters his cobblestone dome and it seems to no longer have the red blocks around it. This time he enters inside and stares at the red block until all of a sudden he starts freaking out. Then, out of nowhere, he exits the dome and walks in a straight line, arriving at the chunk error. He doesn't know why, but he feels like something is off with the area. He starts mining around, trying to figure out this odd feeling he's having, until he sees the chunk error, but his memories of encountering the hole is gone. So for him, this is
investigation, the
first time he's seeing this. But before he can even process what's going on, he gets knocked into the hole, and for a split second we see the black figure once again. Besides the video itself, episode 17 is actually one of the most important videos yet, and for a completely different reason. The description contains a zip file. It's called world4.zip, and upon downloading and putting it into Minecraft, it loads us into Andrew's Minecraft world. Sorry for the interruption, but I'm in a sub race with my friend Flamefrag. Has anything that might in history. Anyway, on with the video. Upon joining, I start looking for anything that might be out of the ordinary. Anything within the chest, the location, any hidden items, and that's when I found something. Anomaly pruned by 072216 reset. This sign wasn't originally here the first time Andrew encountered the hole. Don't forget that 072216 is the name they give Andrew. They most likely do this to prevent Andrew from remembering anything about himself, but this sign basically means the chunk error had to be patched because of a version reset. Taking a closer look around the mineshaft, we can tell the red blocks were removed as well. Throughout the search, I felt an odd sense of unease. Something about the world just made me feel like I was being watched. Although after some exploring, I noticed the room Ender Creeper made Andrew go to also had a new sign on it as well. They still haven't found it yet. Ender Creeper. Just little stuff that I can't seem to find any deeper meaning to. The world generation is really interesting. There's an abnormal amount of sand everywhere and in biomes where sand shouldn't be in. Unfinished land generation and so on. But those can be excused. What really caught my eye was this single source of light in the distance, and upon a closer look was one more sign on the floating island. The sand. It's the sand. Like I've theorized before, the weird mind controls are always caused by using the sand. But again, there's no further elaboration on what this message means. What we do know is that the sand is going to play a significant part of the story. With that being said, let's move on to episode 18.
Давай нещо с пясъка.
Subduer-anomaly.avi. Andrew spawns into his world, but is introduced to the area being surrounded with sand. Then at 27 seconds, we get a shot of the sky as well as a clear view of the clouds. Then right before the video ends, we hear a button click before Andrew turns around to see a swarm of agents. Whatever is going on must not be intentional, right? To get all the agents to break this unspoken rule of not interfering with the player's world is unheard of, right? Well, in episode 10, 10, when 12721 asks if the subdoer has been implemented, we can see this video takes place on version pre-release 4 and this one in version 4. This must be what they were talking about, which means this was something they had planned out. But then, why are so many agents in Andrew's world? Well, the title of the video refers to this anomaly as a subdoer, someone who overcomes and establishes ascendancy and control by force or persuasion. Interesting word choice considering the context of this situation is about the sand. Establishes control by force. By force. Do you see what I mean? This is definitive proof that the sand is their resource of control. Maybe this was set up to fully control Andrew and stop him from resisting, but when they realized it didn't work, they enter the world to shut the operation.
Едно видео, нали започваше с Ендрю, как целият му инвентар е пълен с пясък. Дали е събрал пясъка от това видео? Това е много възможно.
With that figured out, I'll have to move forward from the strange clip of the sky because we're given no context. But hopefully as we continue watching, we'll have our answers.
Fire.
We're now in version 5 as Andrew heads to his house, but upon arrival, the house is on fire. He tries to put it out, but to no avail. The fire spreads too quickly, and once he did put it out, the house already burnt down. He spends the next few minutes rebuilding his house, and then goes to grab something from his old house. But when he returns, the house is back to normal, like it didn't even burn down. Inside, there are signs that say the word redacted, but Andrew breaks them without second thought. Then he takes a look at the 46 symbol from a distance before we get this.
Някой се движи зад него.
It's hard to notice, but it's safe to assume this is the 46 symbol. Then as Andrew is walking, we see not one, but two black figures this time before the video ends. In episode 21, Andrew has made some upgrades.
Да, аз си помислих, че черните фигури не е само една черна фигура, няколко са.
To his house. He heads outside and takes a look at the obsidian area, and we notice a hole in the middle that leads all the way to bedrock, possibly even further. He starts wandering out the area until we get this moment. Weird noises emit as Andrew's jittery behavior worsens. Night approaches rapidly as he seems to be trying to get to the floating island. And when he does, we see the sign that I took notice of in the world file, but the video becomes more distorted until the video ends. If you didn't notice it before, for 2 single frames, we're given 2 different messages. What the and the subdoer is failing. Right before this happens though, Andrew opens his inventory for a split second before closing it. This could insinuate 12721 was going to use the sand to control Andrew like he's done before. But when Andrew closes his inventory, it could have caused them to write these messages out. We don't know exactly who wrote this sign, but we can assume it could be the reflection / palladium, considering he's sent messages to Andrew before. In the description, Andrew says, "I knew it, they're subjecting me T," which we can assume Andrew's message gets cut off. And if I had to guess what the rest of the sentence would have been, I would say, "I knew it, they're subjecting me to the sand," which makes sense considering he gets told it's the sand that's causing all of this. But what happens now? Do they put Andrew in version 6 and remove his memory of understanding all of this like they've done before? I guess we'll have to see in the next video, episode 22.
Neutralize. Ще го убиват ли? Какво?
The video begins with Andrew immediately putting sand up to his face, and his inventory is filled with sand, which is odd because he seems to still be in the same spot he was in last episode, but somehow all the sand got into his inventory. Minor detail, but everything is a lot more vibrant, which is a small change, but definitely isn't an accident by the creator. The sign has been removed and Andrew makes his way back home, but on his way home, the game music is in reverse, and like we've seen before, he moves in a programmed behavior. The way he acts is quite strange. He opens his chest and completes his inventory with sand, and then he stares into the distance before the video ends. What happened to Andrew? We'd assumed that they erased his memory, but it seems like they did a little more than that. We've never seen him go to this extent over sand. It almost looks like he's going to the brink of insanity. But throughout the episodes, we've only ever seen videos from the perspective of Andrew or one of the agents. But in episode 23, we get a new set of eyes in Manifestation S113. The video begins and the person recording is not Andrew but someone else. Right now we only have one question. Who is this person? The player progresses in his world until he stumbles upon a 46 symbol made of obsidian, just like the one Andrew had in his world. What's interesting though is that this symbol is covered in gravel blocks while Andrew's symbol is covered in sand. Tiny detail, but something to keep in mind. The rest of the video is spent with our player building a house with nothing out of the ordinary. Before I review this video, I want to review episode 24 and just combine these two episodes into one review, since I think doing so will allow me to explain whatever is going on a bit better. Episode 24, we're back to Andrew's POV. He sees some signs next to him that reads,
Andrew, it's me. I don't know how long it will be until they censor this sign, but I'm gonna find a way to get us out of here, I promise. The reflection will be under a black moon. He will be able to help us. It's just that he cannot know that I made it here.
We get introduced to another character. We don't know who it is except this vague message saying, Andrew, it's me. Whoever this is must also be stuck in this simulation, as they reassure Andrew, I'm gonna find a way to get us out of here. They mention that the reflection won't be able to help them because the reflection is under a black moon. Now we don't know what this means exactly, but I do have a theory, but I'll have to save it for the end. Andrew breaks the sign and heads outside to see a huge infestation of red blocks around the 46 symbol area. Then as Andrew approaches the area, we get this weird sound.
Извънземните нападат, така ли? Да, извънземните нападат. Както е, моята теория е, че това са... Двата свята са всъщност един свят.
This clip in mind because I will go back to it. Andrew starts digging straight down in the middle of the 46 symbol. Then moments after, we get this.
Нещо пресветнало в оранжево, между другото.
We have now entered a new iteration, S113, the world we saw the player in last episode. But continuing with the video, Andrew checks this hole in the middle of this 46 symbol, and it seems to be dug far down. He then sees the house the other player built, and as soon as Andrew enters it, the screen goes black. Andrew finds himself in an infinity room. He spends the rest of the video trying to find a way out, only to find himself back to where he started. And for some reason, there's just a single cow in this infinity room. The video and audio continues to get more distorted until it eventually ends. Remember this guy from last episode? He was the one who wrote this message to Andrew, and let me explain why. The message states that he's going to get us out, so whoever wrote this has to also be stuck in this simulation just like Andrew. We've established that if you dig straight down the center of the 46 symbol, you're taken to a new iteration, and when Andrew finds himself in S113, there just happens to be a hole straight down the 46 symbol. This player probably went through the same process as Andrew, but instead he found himself in Andrew's world, which is how he was able to place these signs and communicate to Andrew. But now this opens up a lot of questions. Are there more people like Andrew? If so, how many? If there are more people, why is this person so eager to help Andrew? Who is this person and how do they know about the reflection? But as of right now, we can...
Как знаят името на Андрю? Това е по-важен въпрос. Много по-важен въпрос е това.
Only guess, so we'll have to continue. This clip that had weird audio coming out of it isn't just any weird audio. I put the video's audio into Audacity and put it into a spectrogram, which if you don't know shows the frequency of an audio clip. So normally a spectrogram would look like this, but when we get sounds like this, we're given stuff like this. Does martyrdom appeal to you that much? And we get the 46 symbol. What is a martyrdom? It's someone who suffers persecution and death for advocating a religious belief or other cause as demanded by an external party. Once again, we're linked back into religion. Now, we don't know who wrote this message, but we do know they're against the 46 crew as shown in the message. This person is asking the people in the 46 organization if dying for the sake of honoring their religion mean that much to them. Which, don't forget, we've confirmed that the 46 people are part of a religion / cult back in episode 2. Now, the infinity room is not hard to understand. There's a room with planks as walls and cobblestone as a floor and a roof, and no matter how many times you mine, you find yourself back to where you started. This is one of the moments throughout the series that just doesn't make fine. You find yourself.
Who the fuck влизна? Добро утро.
Съм този път.
Да, правим реакция.
Сигурен съм.
Това какво е, човек?
Херобрайн, бе!
Back to where
Не, бе,
you started.
виж, има някаква черна фигура. Има някаква черна фигура в това видео, обаче това не се движи. Има и крава в това място. Ама това не се движи нито като крава, нито като човек, бе. Ти виж го. Виж го как се движи, бе.
Като преклекнал Ендермен.
Да, беше търкато. Наистина се движи като преклекнал Ендермен. Погледни го някаква, това му е крака, това му е гърба.
Back to where you started. This is one of the moments throughout the series that just doesn't make any sense. This could all be symbolism. Maybe it's supposed to depict something, but we'll never know. But the more aware Andrew becomes, the more intense things are gonna...
What the fuck е това? Смисъл, това видео го бях видял преди толкова много време и ми е много чудно какво е това.
Get. And in episode 25, we'll start to really see that. Andrew finds himself in an infinite obsidian world. He's still in the same version and walks around while weird noises can be heard in the background. Eventually, he finds something. We see what looks to be a ritual. There's red torches circling this cross with the 46 symbol imprinted to the floor.
Ами аз идвам след малко.
Светлината прави кръг.
We've seen something similar to this back in episode 2. He takes a closer look at the thing and notices 5 signs, which read Alexander's security guard anomaly, the man-winged cap anomaly, subject 113 conspirator wandering, 072216 failed executor wandering, temp _0.23 traitor anomaly. Now, as of right now, we don't know the context to these 3 messages, but we do know
Searching for a world that doesn't exist thumbnail от Obsidian.
These names. Based off the numbers matching the version, subject 113 is the person we saw back in episode 23, and 072216, aka Andrew. Subject 113 is referred to as Conspirator, the same Conspirator 62020 mentions to also have ties with the reflection, which explains how this person knows the reflection and why he's trying to help Andrew. He is the Conspirator, and it seems that they know Andrew and the Conspirator have left their worlds. But moving forward, the sky almost immediately becomes pitch black. As he's lighting up the area, he finds another set of signs, specifically warp signs.
Andrew, they're coming for you next. Don't become like us. Fight. Fight like hell.
Andrew starts freaking out. Then, as he slowly hovers to the sand, he drops it. We've seen Andrew resist being controlled by the sand, and if dropping the sand was an option, you would think he would have done it by now, which means something isn't right. How was Andrew able to drop the sand from his inventory? Before we could figure out, Andrew begins swinging his sword rapidly, then heads over to the cross and starts mining it. But before the video ends, we get this.
Boy.
What Andrew had found was the organization's temple, the structure they used to pray and express their belief, and Andrew at the very end had been compromised. But now what happened to the conspirator? Have they been caught? And who's this person that's communicating to Andrew, and why is their sign a different color from the rest? As of right now, we don't know, but what we do know is that this screech of audio that we hear at the end was put into a spectrogram, and this is the image that we're given. At first, we don't really know what to make of this, so I checked out the comments for some help, and I find this reply. It is his face. At first, this seems a bit ominous, and I was going to brush past it thinking someone was trying to play into the ARG, but I decided to click on the channel and found one video. What I find won't be spoiled because I might use it later in the video, but let's just say it's definitely related to Andrew Games. Someone in the comments asked, wait, how many channels are there that cover the Andrew ARG? Another person replies, for now 4, but they will grow more and more. After some digging, I find the 3 other channels the commenter is talking about. The Palladium, 46 Intel, Doomstriders, and including Andrew Games would make it 4. Now, I won't go into too much detail with the other channels right now, but when I checked out channel 46, I noticed their banner. If we compare this face to the spectrogram, we see they both have circular glasses, a shadow on their cheek, and the same smile showing their teeth. Judging from the message saying it is his face, and the face being represented on the banner of a channel called 46 Intel, we can assume who we're looking at is the face of the 46 organization. And if that were true, they would formally be known as 62020. As we head into episode 26, this won't be the last time we see this face, and these channels will become very important.
Boy.
We're now watching from another player's perspective. This world seems to be on a super flat world. The player eventually finds a house in the middle of nowhere. He picks up 2 roses and continues inside. He takes a look around the place and drops 2 roses in one of the rooms. Everything seems normal until we get this. Now, at first, a lot seems to be going on. Before I continue with the text appearing on screen, first, let's take a look at this eye that we see in the first few frames, which we can tell is the same eye we saw back in episode 3. But this image that we see is from a place we've seen before, back in episode 6 when Andrew was introduced to the 46 world. Now that we've got that out the way, let's figure out what these texts mean. No more, I know what you're doing. This elaborate project of yours, we don't know who's talking, but we do know who they're talking to. This elaborate project of yours can help us figure out they must be talking to 62020, the leader. He mentioned 62020 put his brother in this simulation, all because he saw through. We're then given context to the project green text is talking about. It seems his brother saw through 62020's project, called The Place. Although it's not a clear image, keep this in mind because we will come back to it. Now you're mourning your parents, as if you wouldn't have done the same to them. We're given no context to what might have happened to 62020's parents, but then green text says something really interesting. You made this channel. You put Andrew in a little simulation of a popular game, a place within a place, all to keep everyone away from the reflection. He's the one man you can't stand to see live. We're given these 2 facial expressions that may be intentional to wording, all to keep away from the reflection, and 62020 has this cocky reaction, and when he says he's the one man you can't stand to see live, his angry facial expressions indicates his true feelings about the reflection. We still don't know the reason why 62020 has such a grudge against the reflection, but then he mentions Andrew. Why would he be worried about what happens to Andrew, unless this is Andrew's brother the green text was talking about? Moving forward, he says, I'm going to make sure you have no peace. I will be your personal hell as long as you continue to play God and manufacture that place. Then 62020 replies, I am no evil man, which he responds with, tell that to I. Most likely this I that we're seeing. Then we're given the Doomstriders PFP at the very end. 21 episodes later, and the I is brought up again. What is
Doomstrider е брата на Андрю. Защото имаше логото на Doomstrider.
its purpose, and how come when 62020 says I'm no evil man, Andrew's brother tells him to tell the I that, as if the I knows something. But right now there's no way to tell what this I knows, and as we head into episode 27, we'll start to understand more about this place.
епизод 27. Obsidian.avi.
We're now in version 6. As Andrew heads over to the 46 area, we get this weird moment. There's a text that says, "Welcome 072216."
Това саунд, между другото, беше някакъв... беше много известен мим, не помня на кой мим.
Which is Andrew. Then we hear a person talking, but we can't really understand what they're saying. Once the video cuts back to normal, Andrew heads over to the obsidian area. There he sees a sign. Ender Creeper 07 equals the palladium. Then text on screen appears saying, "Don't
Това
read
ARG може да райвълва Wi-Fi CRG-то.
that," and the sign is broken. Back in episode 9, when Andrew found the book, we
това сега
established
не е-
that the palladium and
Ама то де-факто не е ARG. То е фейк ARG, което е направено за видео за War Reason.
the reflection were the same person, since the book
Мисля,
was signed
Ако беше ARG, щяхме ние да трябва да го решаваме. Пък то ние не трябва да го решаваме, те ни казват какво ще става.
by the palladium, and in the book they refer to themselves as the reflection. But now, if we're told Ender Creeper is the palladium, would that mean all three of these guys are the same person? Maybe the reflection does this to keep himself hidden, which would explain why in episode 12, when one of the agents realized Ender Creeper broke into the iteration, they said, "Who the hell is Ender Creeper 07? The reflection most likely does this to keep his identity hidden. With that out the way, we'll have to continue to episode 28, which takes place back in version 5. We're watching from one of the agents' perspective. There's a conversation going on in chat, and before I show it, there's some words that will be switched around to understand what they're talking about.
Andrew has entered the frame.
How?
Well, ever since we started pruning the manifestation _S113 code to try and trap the conspirator, broken chunks are beginning to appear in infinitely repeating sectors. That's how Andrew entered the frame. Too little of the manifestation was erased to allow for a normal crash, resulting in this iteration's anomalous behavior.
Where has the conspirator fled to if he is not in his
Това ми напомня на AI Minecraft.
intended world?
Да,
He
да.
found an exploit to cross
Беше
into Andrew's
Minecraft,
world that explains the hole in the 46 symbol.
Then erase
С Minecraft лабота ми. Някакво гледаш едно нещо и изведнъж се телепортираш някъде.
version 5.
We have agents in there doing cleanup right now. We also just can't it's the parent iteration. If we deleted Andrew and the conspirator would either be transferred to the mainframe iteration or be booted from the system entirely. Right, which would be very dangerous because they've already found ways to communicate to one another outside the simulation. This second layer is the safeguard keeping them out of the reflection's reach.
I am the one who will burn this place to the ground.
If we were to kill Andrew and the conspirator, they'll become like them. Wait, what? Andrew just disposed the sand. Disposed it? Threw it out of his inventory straight into the void. Our code shouldn't let him do that.
Send agents now. He must be pruned again.
Let's go back a minute, shall we? We hear a voice in this clip that says, "I will burn this place to the ground." This voice is the same one we hear from last episode. We're looking at what seems to be the aftermath of the structure we were shown back in house.avi. The conversation is about the agents figuring out everything that happened in episode 24 and 25. We also get some information confirmed. We find out that the conspirator did in fact travel to Andrew's world to communicate with Andrew, and how dropping the sand wasn't something that was normally supposed to happen. With that out the way, in episode 29, we're given context to these weird moments, and this is where things start to get really intriguing.
Operation Revenant.
Episode 29 is short and takes place in the 46th dimension. We're watching from an unknown POV as they approach the room we saw back in episode 6 and 8. They start placing TNT in the room, then they write something in chat and send it, which reveals their name, the Palladium, aka the Reflection. As the TNT is about to explode, we get this. We're given context to the strange clips that would appear in episodes 28 and 27. We can also assume that the person who said "I will burn this place to the ground" is the Palladium.
AKA Ender Creeper 07. Може и да не е той.
It seems that they found the 46 crew and in doing so decided to blow all of their stuff. With that out the way, we can move on to episode 30. The title explains the video.
Все още мисля, че
Andrew wants to
Ender Creeper е отделен човек, който просто помага за отказването на тази симулация.
Go into the nether. He mines the obsidian blocks on the ground and makes himself a portal. But when he enters...
Интересно.
He's teleported to this bedrock tunnel. As he heads deeper into the tunnel, he sees a series of signs.
You're not supposed to be here.
Keep going.
Andrew, stop now before it's too late. Before you're like US. The conspirator and the reflection both know this.
And after taking a look at the dark, he decides to head back to the overworld and destroy his portal. Now, we don't know what would have happened if Andrew had continued into the tunnel. The only thing we get is the sign saying stop now before it's too late, before you are like us, which could mean anything. We still don't know who the warp sign is, but we get another sign telling Andrew to keep going. But this tunnel storyline would continue for a few more episodes. In Purified Hallway, Andrew heads over to his house, but when he enters, the floor is completely gone and he falls to the bottom. We can see another tunnel. This time it's just red blocks we've seen before, but colored green and named block purified. Upon entering are another set of signs. It's still the person writing in warp signs, but we also have another person speaking, S113, aka the conspirator. They tell Andrew he's going to get saved by the reflection and one day this place will be destroyed. Once he gets to the last sign, the tunnel ends and leads to the chunk error, presuming that they want Andrew to jump in there. Before doing so, he takes one last look of the place. There's two messages that appear by 6/20/20. Don't listen to the signs, destroy the signs, Andrew. We can tell this is 6/20/20 because it's in red text just like House AVI. Andrew begins breaking the signs, but the closer he got to the exit, the more staggering his screen became. But then he starts dropping all of the sand from his inventory before it ends. And in episode 32, the video continues from where we left off. Andrew is now in version 7, but he got his sand back in his inventory. The signs he collected are gone. The green blocks have turned back into the 46 blocks. It's obvious what's going on, and there's a reason I call these red blocks 46 blocks. The 46 Intel logo has red coming out of it and is primarily known for having these red blocks, while Doomstriders on the other hand have their logo as green, which would explain these green blocks. These tunnels were secretly made by the Doomstriders in an attempt to help Andrew to escape, but once 46 Intel found out they were being infiltrated, they changed the version and erased Andrew's memory of everything that happened. There's a ladder that he climbs, and once he reaches the top, the floor is back to normal, like none of it ever happened, and it seems like Andrew doesn't even notice as he heads back home. But as soon as he enters, as of right now, this is everything we know. There's two organizations, 46 Intel, which contains 6/20/20, some developers, temps, and agents, the bad guys. Then there's Doomstriders, which contains this unknown person, the conspirator, and the reflection, the good guys. The Doomstriders are trying to take down 46 Intel. More specifically, they're trying to destroy the place, the thing where everything happens, where people go to die or become stuck in a simulation forever. But the one person who can stop all of this is the reflection. 6/20/20 tries everything in his power to avoid anyone from coming in contact with the reflection because he knows what he's capable of. But their attempts to help Andrew escape are useless. Every bit of progress they make always restarts because they can wipe Andrew's memories anytime they want. But I did notice that Andrew does this thing where whenever he remembers something familiar, he writes it in chat. And in episode 31, when he sees the name S113, he writes it in chat because he knows he's seen that name somewhere before. We also saw that in episode 9 when Andrew had this slight urge to hit Control V, even though he had his memories wiped of copying any chords down. Episode 7 when he decided to start digging around where the chunk area used to be, and the list goes on. Andrew should have his memories completely wiped, but it's moments like these that show that bits and pieces of his memories are still there, which gives hope that Andrew will start to remember more and more, and resetting the versions won't be enough to wipe Andrew's memories. But with that out the way, it's obvious we'll see more of the conspirator and the reflection. But a question I do have is in episode 31 when they mention to Andrew that the reflection will be here shortly, in the next episode it ends with the black figure appearing. This could be the reflection, but there's no way of telling. With that out the way, we must move on to episode 33, Compromised by Reflection. This video is only 52 seconds long. There's a sign on the symbol that says, "We have since been compromised by the reflection." Around 20 seconds is when the video cuts. We get a message saying this is not a test, and another message telling us to watch a YouTube video with this URL, which takes us to a video on the Palladium channel called The Project. This video takes place where we always see the agents at. There's a conversation going on between two people, Nick and Alexander. Alexander is curious as to what's in the fusion shaft room and is upset that they don't get to know considering they've been loyal since the beginning. He breaks into the room and we get this.
What in the hell is this?
What is what?
Nick, you know anything about something called the place?
I've heard it mentioned in passing. Why?
Oh, Nick, I think my worst fears were right all along.
What? What do you mean?
Then we hear who we can assume is 62020 saying, as we hear Alexander gasping for air. Then there's blue text saying you're in the place, and this is the rest of the video.
It has been ever since you sent my brother there to die. So you think you can rob me of my own blood? 46. You sealed your own fate by creating it.
It's clear episode 33 is not for us to watch, it's for the agents. There's a message saying the reflection has been compromised, that it's not a test, and gives them instructions to watch this video about 62020's latest project. This whole episode gives us context to House AVI. This person, which for now I'll call Doomstriders, mentions about his brother that saw through 62020's project. And in this video, Alexander saw through 62020's project, which could mean Doomstriders is Alexander's brother. 62020 tells his mother that he took that man's child for neglecting her, which we can only assume means this child must have been his sibling. This is the first time we hear of an Alexander, and we don't know what purpose he serves in this story at the moment. One thing for sure is Alexander has been put in the place, this hellhole that only serves to people, and there's two people next on that list in the description of the video, Andrew and the conspirator. It seems they're running out of time. Andrew needs to escape this simulation before it's too late.
Boy.
The sign has changed to "Stop trying to see something new." Andrew replies with "Why?", then enters his home to see a green and blue wall with signs on them. Keep fighting, Andrew. Don't give in. Take the
The placement напомня на нещо The Black Moon, bonjour.
Item in the chest, but don't do anything with it. Inside, he's given an unknown item. He places it in one of his chests and takes the wool blocks outside his house. He writes to each of them, "I feel like I remember you. I've seen someone like you." Andrew might be right. These green and blue wools may represent someone we've seen before. The creator uses colored text to sort out different people. Like how we know 62020 is the red text, this green and blue text is most likely who's communicating to Andrew. In the next episode, Andrew gets a response. "It's because you know me. I don't know you. I don't think I do. It's because he's already seen you." Who has seen me? He then heads over to the symbol where the sign has been changed to because there's nothing to find. And then there's fire all around him, scaring Andrew. He then writes, "What are you? Who are you? What is going on? Who am I?" It seems Andrew is becoming more aware of his situation, which they start controlling him to calm him down. The next episode, Andrew stares off into the sunset. He checks the signs for a reply. "You may not right now, but you will. I don't know who you are. The one who sees everything." Sees everything? He then starts checking out his house, but notices something strange underneath. He takes a closer look, and there's a room with a chest in it. Inside, it is a book by the Palladium.
Not all hope is lost. He can't see everything. He is no god. I know you don't know who you are right now, but I promise, once we get you out of here, you and the conspirators' ties to me will strengthen. We will find a way to destroy this place, this horrid nightmare. Me being alive is the reason it still exists. I am his sworn enemy. I never knew why, but we can make him regret what he's done. What he did to Alexander, what he did to the man with the winged cap, what he did to the temp, all of it, paid in full. No wrongdoing will go unanswered. 46 will fall. You must wake up, Andrew. 072216. You must wake up.
The reflection says 62020's hatred for him is the reason this place exists, but it seems the reflection himself doesn't know why. The entire conversation throughout the past 3 episodes is them trying to help Andrew understand that his memories have been altered. In episode 39, we get a different video. We can tell from their hand we're watching from the Palladium's perspective. They stare into a...
The one who sees everything. Какво вижда всичко? Всичко твоята reflection.
Black moon before opening a book and quill, and we get this interesting moment.
То е reflection, той de facto вижда всичко. Не може да се види.
On the surface, there's not much to decipher until we realize there's something going on in the captions. Opening up the transcript gives us a jumble of letters and numbers, but if we take every number and rearrange them from 1 through 11 and take only the right side, it gives us a secret YouTube video. It's named 1009. We see a player shaking in fear with a book and quill in their hands. We can see the moon is red and black, and this video is uploaded on the Palladium channel, which means we're watching from the Palladium's perspective. While the video goes on, there's text on screen. No one's coming, just accept the void. You're not home anymore. The moon was blackened once again. Then at 1:10 into the video, we get this strange noise. At first, I had no idea what this meant. The audio was too muffled to understand what they were saying. But after 20 minutes of trying to figure it out, my friend Pentar suggested to Shazam it, which is a tool that identifies music playing around you. And when I did it, it almost immediately led me to a song called Exit Music by Radiohead. Now, I can't play the song, otherwise the video will get copyrighted, but I decided to watch it thinking I wasn't gonna find anything. But then at 38 seconds, there's this part that sounds awfully familiar. So I decided to put both audios into my editing software and line up the clips, and you'll hear the reaction me and my friends give to discovering this.
It's literally...
Today,
dude!
We escape.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Wait.
It's goddamn beautiful. It is. It's just...
It is! That is it! That is it! This is it! What the... Okay, so today what the f***? I didn't think I was gonna get that. What the f***? Now going back to the video.
Давайте, това са лайфстил крут. В смисъл, тия Minecraft ютубъри са приятели всички тия.
I think things are starting to make more sense. The conspirator mentions to Andrew that the reflection can't save them because he's under a black moon. This is what they meant. That's why they tell the Palladium/reflection to accept the void and that no one's coming. 62020 has the reflection trapped, but these words, "today we escape," could mean the reflection will escape this world. And when he does, he'll get Andrew out of this simulation. In pumpkinpatch.avi, things get a bit interesting. He goes outside to see the signs are gone. What happened? Where did you go? He then sees a torch he's unfamiliar with, and when he checks it out, there's another torch that leads him to a bunch of pumpkins. He mines them, and right before the video ends, we get the figure. This pumpkin saga continues into the video's description. We're given characters to a YouTube video by the Palladium from 8 years ago. The video is named 28 Pumpkins. The comment section has the Palladium and Andrew replying with the number 28. In the video, the Palladium collects 28 pumpkins, and in pumpkinpatch.avi, there's 28 pumpkins. There seems to be something going on with 28 pumpkins. Nothing else happens throughout the rest of the video, but this rabbit hole goes deeper once we look into the description with another video named 28.
Why 28 of them?
I'm not sure.
Is he trying to recreate the good old days?
Maybe. I think all of it haunts him, angers him.
He knows what he lost. And more importantly, what the reflection didn't lose. And then projected that envy on Agent 081798's brother.
Man, that's a number I've not heard in a long time. Still can't believe he went under our radar like that. He was in our midst. All to frame a temp for a document.
What did he do with it?
Дени ми е 26, ние сме
He did what
28.
all traitors to this
Каде
agency do.
46, ние сме 28.
We find out 28 pumpkins have a meaning to them. It's to recreate the good old days, which would explain this video by the Palladium from years ago when he was just a child. They set this up in Andrew's world because they know the past angers the Palladium. They did this to taunt him because 62020 knows what the Palladium didn't lose, and according to the agents, he then projected that envy on Agent 081798's brother. Remember this name. Apparently, this brother
Ко? Моторе.
Вкусният стримал преди 20...
framed
Да,
a
да,
temp
реакция
for a
правя.
document, which is interesting. Where have we seen a temp and a document related with each
If you
other?
don't use
Maybe
your
in
trinkets
episode
like
10
this,
when
you
we
are
see this
behind.
person delivering a document.
Trinket
Then in
maxi-
episode
Boy.
13 when they
Оша потихо.
explained the temp
Може
betrayed
по-тихо.
them and was
Потихо.
Да, в Red Room сме.
Да, реакция правим.
Че да се дуелирам?
punished for it. What are the chances this is the temp that was framed for a document? And if so, why would the brother do this? According to them, he did what all traitors do to this agency. Right now, we don't know what this means, but as we head to the final parts of the videos, we'll get our answer. Andrew opens his chest to see the item. I never go into detail about this strange item, but all we need to know is that they give this to him because it's the one item that can help him escape this place. He grabs it and begins heading out. They start trying to take control of Andrew, like he's doing something he's not supposed to, but Andrew fights back.
Вой! Какво е? Анерор. Вой, добре.
Moments later, he arrives to the world border. When he tries to interact with it, he gets pushed back, so he decides to walk up to it with the item in his hand.
Missing no. Крашнахме играта, вой.
When he respawns, he's in version 7_1. This time, his item was taken from him. He still never gets a reply, so he just wanders around his world alone until the video ends. In the next video, he's given a new message. Andrew, I told you not to use it yet. He enters his cobblestone dome, and it seems to have changed. There's black wool inside and a black block with red text on it saying, Welcome 072216. He checks it out, confused for a bit before he ends the video. This item was Andrew's only hope in escaping this simulation, but once he decided
Това се показа като линк в Twitch, защото има точка и нещо.
to use it when he wasn't told to, it crashed his iteration and they had to make a new one, which caught the attention of 62020 and he saw that he had something he wasn't supposed to have. This could mean Andrew lost the only thing that could help him escape, but we'll have to see what happens next. These next 3 videos will be into one big video because we're given context to a lot of things.
Did he ever get that document?
The one for the project.
Yeah, a temp was supposed to deliver it to the project room by today. It should be here.
I don't remember seeing anything in the logs.
Oh God, that's how we get compromised.
Do we tell him?
I don't know.
I will.
Okay.
Where is the death?
What do you need?
I talked to 62020. He said that the temp should be placed into that broken iteration as punishment.
But that version is extremely broken. I don't think he understands that doing that could create another anomaly.
Just do it. Orders are orders.
Alright, fine. You bastard. You purposefully withheld the key for the project room from the temp, didn't you? So the temp would misplace the document and you could frame him for being a traitor and retrieve the document. Do you know what...
Много е confusing с всички номера. Тия номера са някакво гулновете там, които работят за другия.
They did with him. They put him in a broken iteration of the program. He's gone too. He got punishment he didn't deserve. Also, you could get what also you didn't deserve.
As if Alexander deserved his punishment. And what are you going to do? Report me. He won't believe you. Nobody will.
All this time I've been trying to keep the iteration and the subjects in order. You've been distracting me. Where is the damn document?
It's gone.
What do you mean it's gone? Where did it go?
You know, I especially wanted that document for a reason. Documentation on...
Лошия гулнове означава българската версия. Каква беше българската дума? Лакей.
Reaching any iteration through a normal .jar file. Brilliant.
Be very careful with your next words.
I didn't want them for myself. I gave them to someone we are brainwashed to think is the enemy. The reflection sends his regards.
What happened to 102117?
Forget about confidentiality. There's no reason to protect Nick's identity anymore.
His name is Nick.
Yeah, you know who that is, right?
Who?
Agent 081798 from years ago. Alexander's brother.
Wait, what? Alexander?
The eye watches everything. His first victim. Now it watches unceasingly. That's why it's the only thing he fears.
It turns out the temp who we thought was a traitor and was punished was actually framed by 102117 so that he could retrieve the document and give it to the reflection instead. When confronted about how someone got punished for something they didn't deserve, he mentions Alexander getting a punishment he didn't deserve. Why would he bring that up? In another episode, the agent says there's no reason to hide his identity anymore and says his name is Nick. Does this name sound familiar?
Hey, Nick.
Nick. За Андрю. Боже, какво е това? Спри за малко. Ти. Абонирай се за канала. Не. Защо? Ако се връщаш да ми гледаш видеята и не си абониран, може да го направиш. Като ти не губиш нищо. Така че защо не? Също можеш да удариш един лайк на видеото, защото истината е, че ютубърите се хранят с лайкове. А сега ви оставам обратно към видеото. Tyler, the creator, boy.
Oh, Nick.
Nick knows Alexander. Not only that, but we also find out they're brothers, and Nick was referred to as Agent 081798 from years ago. That's why in the Pumpkin episode when they said 62020 projected that envy on Agent 087198's brother, aka Alexander, Nick knew his brother got an unfair punishment and realized that the reflection wasn't the enemy, which is why he says someone we are brainwashed to think is the enemy. It's interesting to see if Nick will play a role in helping Andrew escape, but as we get closer to the end of the series, we'll hopefully get an answer. In murder.avi, we're now in version 7_2. Andrew heads outside and things have changed. We're presented with 4 new characters. We see the blue and green wool, but next to them is a magenta wool. Then there's a red wool and a pink wool with a skull on top. And over to the left is a cyan wool with blocks above it. When he stares at it, the screen goes static. At first glance, it's hard to understand what's happening. We've established that color text depicts certain people, and in this case with the red block, we're looking at the red text, which we know is 62020. He's standing next to a dead body. We can assume the red fence sticking out is his bloody hand. Who's someone we know that 62020 has taken the life of? That's right, Alexander. This area seems to be telling a story. These 3 people watch 62020.
Вой! От Думстрайдерите. I was looking through your things. I found those old pictures. Yeah, Вой. Of the life you could have had. But instead you took it from everyone. Интернет... Май наистина интернет. Не знам, нещо замира. How are you still here? Did they not prune your entire dimension? That's surprising. They didn't bother to kill you, did they? And look at you, a monster. A demon trapped in the very place he created. You think you have another shot, don't you? Let's go, John. Think back to all the things you did to bring the reflection pain and suffering. You will soon. Do not leave. You cannot leave. There is no time, nor space, only the place. You soon. Нещо си. Unwilling your friend, Джон? Не питай как го намерих. Как го намерих? Вау, тук има много четене. Where am I? You're in the place. Just as John had conspicuously stated. Трудно. Mom, do you remember that? You never met John. I feel like I remember. But I can't. Are we alive? I don't know. I wanted to die. I gave myself up to destroy Todd. Why am I here? 46 must have had a bone to pick with you. Не мога го чета, много е трудно се чете това. Какво? Cursed is he? I have been here for a while. For how long? Май нещо си has stopped turning. So I have counted every second since I entered the place. Не мога чета това. 565 дни. Но може би от години. И това. Сега ще го видим. When did you enter this place? I nearly reviewed the motives. Не мога да чета. My everything. Years of нещо си. Оша, не мога да го прочета това, бе. Много е трудно за четене това, бе, човек. Качеството е ужасно. Бай, аз сега съм го чел, така ли, бе? I'm unsure. However, it's impossible to find me another in this labyrinth. There is no time nor space in this elaborate dimension. Може? My room has only a TV set in it. My room is a reincarnation of John's room. Имаш ли телевизор? How long would 46 know what that looks like? I can see a light through the cracks of a blind, implying the presence of a window. As I pull back his blinds to find what lies outside, however there's always another blind. There are infinite blinds. I see a door too, but it's locked. Maybe we'll be saved. As long as 46 is in our presence, that's not possible. We are powerless here. 0711622. Кой е Розов? Не знам. 0711622. Кой беше това? Това беше някой важен. I tried my damn best to warn everyone. You're happy, you fiend. Това е Андро. А, да. I would kill you, but that is too good for you. Instead, your evil soul can just consume itself forever. You will watch your body decay inside out. Call it cruel, I call it justice. Justice for those you tortured so merciless. If there is God, he awaits them in the afterlife. Remember when I said I won't stop until you burn in hell? This is that hell. Welcome to eternity. Това ли беше? Doomstrider. И почва Хавана. Това си е ARG, тия видеа, дето прати ги няма в видеото, мисля. Не мога да видя чата. Не мога да видя чата. Аха. И това. Това какво е? Това си ARG, тия видеа. Peace. О, това е по-дълго. Дете във формата на Undertale. Друго дете във формата на Undertale. Едното се доближава до другото и стържат ръцете. Трето дете под формата на... че имаш четвърто. What the fuck? I know you remember me. What the fuck was that? Трето дете, второ дете, трето дете, второ дете. Брат, сестра? Possibly? Между другото, да, мислих, че текстурата му е странна. What the fuck става с текстурата му? What the fuck are you? This has been so fun. Please don't go. По-скоро FNAF мини игри. И да, по-скоро FNAF мини игри, наистина. I can't stay forever. You know that. But I know you will be okay. What if I'm not? You will be. Качество? Качеството е пик. Чакай сега. You will be. Because everything is in its right place. Nice. 09 22 36 11 09 22 36 ли? Единайсе 09 22 36 22 36. Solve. Това са като координати. Това също са като координати. Това са по-големи. Сто и 12 опции ли е? Ти не видя коментарите на видеото на Doom Strider, можеше да има нещо. Верно? Видеото се каже His. Не бе, той нали го коментира това видео His? Просто каза, че ще го покаже после. Ние сме deep в този ARG. То код, тия числа не знам какво трябва да ги правя. Наистина не знам какво трябва да ги правя тия числа. Чакай да гледаме това да го видим. Peace, дето се казва. Четвърто дете. Има друга буза. Бавно се доближава. Много бавно. Има звук. Оп, нож! Това беше с нож. Нещо стана. Уби го, обеси са. By the way, това май е банабъл. Какво беше другото име на Reflection-а? Не помня. Още това... Are you happy? Още това е банабъл. Are you happy? Now we're in everlasting peace. Peace? Nobody loves you anymore. She's not a bad kid. Беше нещо с П. But they had to do it. She нещо си. She had to kill. Така. She had to kill. И това е той. Искам да проверя нещо. Не това. Лицето. Да, искам да проверя нещо. Не е хромаки. Прави лут. Не е лут. Как е брайтнеса тука, бе? Render, delay, scaling, aspect ratio, sharpen, color correction. Не, какво ми трябва? Гама ли ми трябва? Добре, няма нищо. Няма нищо в лицето. Have you had enough? You all claim to care so much, but we ignore death staring you in the face. музика. You spend so long hunting? What you think we are? What you think is pure evil? I like some kind of joke to laugh at in your safe little circles. Like you're any better. Banabao. Twitch, we are watching a video. I am sorry, but we are watching a video. Има един текст накрая. Поне това видях. Phase 1 underway. Нещо ми покава слушалките. Това е. Рендър видеото Андрю в коментарите и е казал The situation is coming to an end. Oh my god. Бе. Виж за... Какво? Виж за себе си. Какво да видя за себе си? Да видя... Не това. Да видя, че Андрю му е писал в коментарите. Добре. Трябваше да проверя. Думстрайдерите. Any blood, my blood. Добре, дай да си продължим видеото.
20 Murder Alexander. Although we don't know the names of these blocks, I'm certain this cyan block is the Palladium. When the screen went static, notice how the blocks are covering the moon. This static is supposed to tell us something is going on. Remember when the conspirator told Andrew the reflection is under a blackened moon? And how we saw it ourselves? We're seeing the reflection under the blackened moon. It seems that they're trying to help Andrew recover his memories, trying to recreate scenes hoping Andrew will remember, but it doesn't seem like Andrew takes notice of it. He heads over to the symbol and there's signs. They tell Andrew they don't have many chances and not to mess it up again. Inside the chest is the item. Andrew is given a second chance of redemption. He finishes off the video placing 2 cobblestone blocks and torches on the Palladium. In the next episode, he heads outside and stares at Alexander before we get this.
Andrew, where are they taking you?
The good timeline. I have an objective to fill.
What objective?
It's none of your business, Alexander.
I'm in security. You have no right to withhold that information from me. Why are you going to that timeline?
To prune the reflection.
I'll see you around then. I need to know what's in that damn room.
Какво трябва да е, Ники? Progency. Още тук имам прекалено много неща. You always say that, like, means something. It does. When the house goes quiet, that's when I start remembering. You'll be remembering a lot later. Не ме питай как ги намирам тия канали, трудно е. Въобще не е толкова трудно. I guess this is what getting old does. Let's get about a case. Somewhere was hot. I got a call from a woman. A new mother. She said her baby wasn't right. Claimed that the child made things happen. Made things happen? Like what? She swore everyone close to her was dying one by one after the boy was born. Boy. Parent, sibling, her husband. I chalked up to coincidence, bad luck. Told her I was a police officer, not a priest. Did she believe it was supernatural? She did. Said he'd stand up in the middle of the night watching her. Boy, it was creepy as fuck. 14 months old, not even walking yet, but standing there silent, staring. Kids do weird things. That's what I said. I talked about you guys. You and Nick used to draw crayons on the walls and ruin your mother's good paint. This woman begged, though. I told her she needed a doctor, not me, and I left. Wasn't much I could do, so I fled I filed the report, went home, kissed your mother. Nothing out of the ordinary. A week later, this woman vanished. Not trace. Boy, the house was knocked down. What about the kid? He was never found. Око! Окото постоянно гледа, да.
Майко!
Моторе, стреснах има човек. Забравих, че сте тука. Do you think the lady was right? I don't know what I think anymore. But I know what I saw in the mother's eyes. Too many. Fear. Well, people aren't born evil. That's what I used to think too. But after the day I started to wonder if maybe some people are just made wrong. You sound like you lost your faith entirely. Оп! Видях I am и Исус. You sound like you... Да, това го прочетох. I never had much to lose. I stopped praying when I realized no one was listening. You think God listens even he is silent. That's your mother talking. Искам да видя нещо. He is saying that he is God, maybe. Maybe? Добре. You want to believe I am with that. But maybe she was right. Believing doesn't make it easier, that. It just makes the fear sharper. Because if there is a God, then there is something worse than us. If God exists, so does its ambience. Well, absence. And whatever that mother saw back in night 7, maybe she wasn't crazy. That's my jump scare. Don't start down that road, Alex. Once you start thinking you're seeing devils, you see them everywhere. Maybe that's better than pretending they don't exist. Crazy. I know you see things I don't, Alex. You were always more observant.
Стига, бе.
Стига говори, бе, човек, четем тук ARG Prime. I just don't want you or your brother carrying that weight. I saw what I really fear this. Tell people I don't want it in your bones. Алекс, къде съм чул това име? Александър? Да, аз това го разбрах още когато каза ник. Too late for that, that. You kept the report, didn't you? Couldn't help it. I wasn't supposed to. It's been 14 years, retired for 4 of those. I just can't bring myself to burn it. Part of me still wants to believe I imagined it. But the other part knows I didn't. Това е creepy as fuck. Frame by frame. Какво виждаме тук? Виждаме череп. Човек виждаме. Сън. Така ми се. Ама това е прекалено пик да мисля. Вай. Only a father as rich as I could have let that happen. This happened. I am sorry. I am sorry, I am sorry, I am sorry. И така приключва. Вай. Учите. I will not leave him, I will not leave him, I will not leave him. Винаги е това. Crazy. 1997.
Hi, I'm Officer Cooper here to the BAPD.
Hi, I'm...
Good to meet you. So, let's see here. Okay, June 21st, 1997. I'd like for you to describe to me what happened that day.
I don't know. I was giving birth to my baby boy around noon, and it was the happiest day of my life. But everything was just wrong after that.
Това е блендър анимация.
What do you exactly mean by that?
Within 14 months after his birth, people in my extended family have just started dying. I think God is trying to tell me something.
Now, I may not be religious, man, but I would not play the God card if I were you. There's something more concrete here, if I may be so bold. Look, if there is a God, he ain't the doer of whatever's going on.
Well, sir, I do believe in God.
Yeah, I know. All I'm saying is that there's no way these two things have really anything in common.
Sometimes he has these episodes and lets out these horrid screeches. They sound almost devilish.
Episodes? Epileptic, perhaps?
No. Certainly not. I mean, I've had him seen by doctors, and they can't seem to find anything wrong with him. I'm just very scared. What if he's the devil's child?
Well, you ain't the devil, that's for sure. Look, your kid's not even 2 years old. I mean, little kids are weird. They do weird things. I got 2 little boys at home, they're nuts. Don't really see any reason to get all too worried about this, alright?
No, officer, you don't understand. My boy doesn't even know how to walk yet. But there he was, standing in the middle of my bedroom, staring at me in the dead of night like a creep.
И ме му прошка малко в момента.
I'm a police officer, not a priest. Thank you. And goodbye.
I'm sorry to see you go. Усмихна се повече. Око. Minecraft. Постер. Do you remember this place? You grew up here. Why did you do that to Alexander? You know he didn't deserve it. And now his brother won't stop. Jump scare? Сигурно. jump scare. He deserved every second. You're next there. You're next Nicholas. Who the? А, Ник. Да, Ник. 20, 15, 18, 20, 21. Поне бях подготвен, наистина. 20. Па. 20. 15, 18. 20, 15, 18, 20. 21, 18, 5. 21, 18, 5. Какво съм ви направил аз? 20. Пак 15. Ник, не Ники. 18, 20, 21. Това се повтаря. 18, 20, 21. Почна 20, 15, 18, 20, 21, 18, 5, 20, 15, 18, 20, 21, 18, 5. 18, 5. Too deep сме. Too deep сме. Solve. Така, това са, всичкито са URL-ове, май. Дашове, Caesars, Report, Rotin. Не знам. Това не трябва. Може ли сега пи пауза? След това видео. Your mother would be disappointed. Oh, the life you could have lived.
Anti monsters trapped in the corridors. Be still and give up.
The result of what happened that day is irrelevant now.
They don't belong to you. For most of you, I believe there is peace and perhaps more.
Вой! Вой! Ко? Тук има лице! Вой! Това дали ще се види повече с... това... с филтър. Има лице! Вой! Сега изчезна! Чай, изчезна? Още аз се побърквам. Color key. Вой! Не, има лице! Да, има лице. The reflection is good hard one. Лицето става по-голямо и по-голямо. Както и да е, звука е на Five Nights at Freddy's end screen, на Five Nights at Freddy's 6 специален симулатор. And here you are burning alive in another man's body.
The darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, friend.
Crazy. Crazy. Айде, пиш пауза. Crazy. Що това е crazy as fuck, като се замислиш, бе. Някакво... Много е лудо. Тоест... 06, 20, 20... Да, пи пауза. Някакво демонче. Брат, ти представяш да се родиш като демонове. Това трябва да бъде някакво много гадно. Да се родиш и единственото, което искаш да правиш е да убиваш хора. Това се казва да се родиш като демон. Това е някакво много лудо. Какво без звяр? Какво искаш без звяр? Какво правиш тук? Ще му отцапаш ей. Седнала си ми върху слушалките. Върху кабела. На стрим ли сте, бе? А, вие не сте. Бой, много бързо, Ники. Добре, това, което разбрахме сега е, че 46 там човека лошия, там лошия. Той всъщност се оказа, че е някакъв демон, който се родил се като демон. Защо ръката ми е червена? Ага, да, заради това. Родил се като демон. Също звяра е тук. Това знаем.
When the video cuts back to normal, he walks on the bridge until he stumbles across the black figure. It doesn't move and it doesn't crash Andrew's game. He asks him who or what are they and walks away. Throughout the whole investigation, there's one question that I never understood. Who was Andrew before all of this? What was he before he was stuck in this simulation? And we finally get some clarification. This scene shows who Andrew was before he was put in the simulation. He was part of 46 Intel. He went to the good timeline to prune the reflection, someone that is trying to now help Andrew to escape. He also used to know Alexander as seen in this conversation. We also noticed the color text for Andrew is the same one they used when showing how everything went down. Andrew was there when he...
Ма ние не можем да довършим... Аз примерно съм много прост и не мога да довърша ARG-то и ние трябва да търсим кодове, трябва да търсим линкове, сайтове, неща. Той има прекалено много опции, аз не мога да ги търся всичките. Бай, кой влезна? Вкусен, какво става Вкусен? Правим реакция, човек. Никто ме помоли да направя реакция, вече 2 часа да правя тази реакция. Твърде дип съм в някакво ARG.
Saw 6/20/20 murder Alexander and did this to try and restore his memory.
By the way, Никито искаше да направим марка като ARG. ARG-то марка. Той Вкусен се тръгна. Чили в Исак. Дай Вкусен да помогне. Той Вкусен и той колкото мене. Умен. Нали те Вкусен, ти колкото мене си умен?
Ало, пуснахме ли си микрофона?
Още микрофон не работи.
Andrew was enemies with the people who are now trying to save him. But why? Alexander's brother mentions that they were brainwashed into believing the reflection is the enemy. Doomstriders understand that the people against them are only against them because they've been brainwashed. And Andrew must have done something in his past to make 6/20/20 angry and punish him to put him in this simulation. Everything that's been building up is to help Andrew remember who he used to be. And in the next episode, Andrew will start to remember everything.
Някой ден ще довършим ARG-то. Ето май е довършено ARG-то. Ние просто трябва да го намерим. Ние няма какво да намерим, защото аз съм много за с намерене на улики, на някакви такива неща и няма да се сетя за...
Man with the winged cap.
Hello, Andrew. Yes, I have been the warp signs. They should alarm you. These don't exist in Minecraft beta. So then, where are you? Now you're getting somewhere. 46 Intel has imprisoned you in here because you sided with John and gave him a temporary edge over the organization. Unfortunately now, my now murderer, in need of a host, is on the hunt and seeks to destroy that young man. John has no idea what is about to happen. The blackened moon is real, but Andrew, you have all the tools. You just need to know where to go. We can't tell you because they'll destroy it before you can find it. You have what is necessary to escape.
By the temp.
I don't know who you are, but you seem important. The others seem to care about your existence very much. They want to relieve you of this hell. I'm sorry for the flames I have wrought. I wanted to get your attention because the others either couldn't or chose not to. Get the hell out of here as soon as possible. I know you have what it takes.
By Alexander.
Andrew, you do not remember me. Neither do I. Forgive me for watching your every move. Forgive the others for attacking you. They do not know what they are. You remind them of the group you once swore allegiance to. The group that stripped them of their lives. I know what I am. I see. I watch unceasingly. John fears the abomination he's brought into this playroom. But that man is not the John you know. This is a different man. Looks just like him but has no pretty garden or pretty house.
By Nicholas.
072216. This is Nicholas. Stay here. There is no more truth out there than what is in here. This is your home.
Andrew looks over to see another chest. Inside is an item named the winged cap. Then he puts it on. We find out the warp signs has been by the man with the winged cap all along, a name we've seen before, although we don't know much about them. We find out in Andrew's previous life he sided with the Doomstriders and gave them secret information, which is what caused 62020 to imprison him. The moment Andrew put on this item is when he sees the truth. There's a few frames that showcase all the events that went through Andrew's previous life, like this one, which is the clip we saw last episode. Andrew understands that he's in a simulation. With the information given to him, all he has to do now is escape.
Манифест нещо си и рън.
Andrew looks around his world. He enters his home and looks in his chest, but when he exits, things look different. Every ladder he goes down, every door he goes through leads him to his house again. What's interesting though is that because all of the houses are identical, so are all the items. Andrew finds himself a few more of those unknown items. He then wanders around the area, trying to figure out what's going on until he notices land generation that's cut off. He bridges to it and begins walking away. This seems like Andrew wasn't supposed to leave or something went wrong, because this is where things take a turn. After going further out, he eventually finds the world border again, and we're given this. Andrew respawns and the world border is gone. This is what they meant. This is what the item was supposed to do. He's going beyond the simulation. This must be the second layer the agents were talking about that prevented them from reaching the reflection. But Andrew still isn't out yet. He begins going further out the simulation and the version starts going crazy. He respawns and he's in the version we saw all the way back in the first episode. It then changes to a bunch of 46s. It seems 46 Intel is panicking, trying to change the versions to control Andrew. But then the version is gone. For the first time ever, the version is gone. He finds a village and he picks up the red blocks and we can actually see it's a retextured mossy cobblestone block. Andrew is finally understanding everything and starts writing to us. Guys, I can see everything. I know what's going on. Can't let them see, but I know who's behind this. I know where I am. The reflection is John. I know it is. I don't ever remember meeting John, but for some reason, he is in my memory. I can edit signs. New feature? Then he replies no, but it doesn't feel like Andrew was the one who just wrote this. I can feel them fighting for control. Andrew is so close to escaping, all he has to do is fight back.
Защо беше настрани, бе, брат? Оша, вкусен нещо, не можете да говорите в този чанал, ли, бе?
О!
Вой.
О!
Оша, правя реакция, остават ми 2 минути.
Go back? What about that place? There was somewhere I was supposed to put the item because I'm not out yet. There must be a way. All of this isn't real. He then pauses before dropping the items. What is he doing? Why is he picking up sand? Andrew, fight back. We can see him trying to and wanting to go for the items, but they won't let him. If Andrew puts the sand over his face, they will have successfully taken it.
Ми казахте да дойда.
Да, отидете си в личните съобщения и таковете колабите, които съм ви пратил.
In control of him. He then collects all the sand and opens his inventory and starts approaching his face. They take full control over him and take him back to the simulation. As of today, this is where the Andrew game story stops. The channel continues to upload, so it's an ongoing story, but there's a lot of videos on the Palladium, and Intel channels that have so much extra stuff that go outside of Minecraft that if I covered those topics, this video would be hours long. But as of right now, 46 Intel continues to keep Andrew captured, stuck in a simulation without him ever knowing.
Ами да, знам, ние просто се любовахме там с сайта ни, това беше.
But that doesn't have to be Andrew's story. I'm certain that one day Andrew will escape. They'll free him of this place. I know they will.
Целувахме се, направим поне отпечатък на врата.
Това е много забутано ARG и това, което знаме, че имаме някакво момче, което е демон и всички други искат да... не да го убият, ми да го затворят някъде. Това е.